Jan Crawford's outside the Supreme Court right now. So, along with Ilya Shapiro, thank you, from the Cato Institute, the reaction outside the courthouse when the decision came down was loud. Can you describe it?
Well, I mean, obviously everyone, kind of had a sense that we were going to get this case today, if not today, tomorrow. So the steps, everything around here is packed. And you could sense, like, the second that this decision, came out, just within a few minutes, the crowd just erupted. People have placards, they're cheering. ACA is here to stay. I assume that they practiced that one for a while before they got this ruling. But I mean, obviously, this is a very strong ruling. It is a significant legal threat to the president's signature achievement, and the court today, 6-3, with Chief Justice Roberts writing this decision, preserving that saying that Congress did intend this, and they're going to go along with the IRS's interpretation of that and allow these subsidies to be available to people in all of the country. Now, Ilya and I were just talking kind of about some of the language in here, and we're still, obviously, this is a pretty hefty decision to get through with the majority opinion and then the dissents. But Justice Scalia, always colorful, always passionate. His dissent, I think, Ilya, is really one, we're going to have a lot of fun with some of the quotes in that. He really takes it to the court.
He calls it SCOTUScare, that is, that the Supreme Court and John Roberts keeps rewriting the law, in this case to give the IRS more power than what the dissenting justices think, than what the challengers thought. The fact that an exchange established by the state can mean an exchange established by the federal government makes no sense to Justice Scalia.
And, I mean, he's joined, of course, by Justices Alito and Thomas. But you know what? That's 3 justices. The 6 votes are going to carry the day on this. The interpretation that the IRS issued, that people across the country in any state can get these tax credits so they can afford insurance, that is going to remain. There is one open question, and as Ilya and I kind of continue to read through this decision, they have left a window open for a different administration to come in and say, we're going to interpret this law differently. Now, whether that would ever happen, because as more people rely on this law, I think it's going to get more and more difficult.
Well, what's clear is that it's definitely going to be an issue in the presidential campaign. People will be promising, no doubt, that I will reverse this when I become president. And so it could be a loss, but also a win for Republicans as they campaign against Obamacare, as they have in several elections now.
And in many ways, I think this is the best case scenario for the Republican presidential candidates, because a ruling that said no, we're going to hold it to those words and only allow tax credits in 16 states would have meant that people in 34 states, 6.5 million people, could have started losing their insurance. And that is a very difficult thing to try to explain to voters when you're out on the stump, why that's a good thing, particularly if you don't have an immediate plan to give them relief. So this way, like Ilya says, they can rail against the court and they can say if they're elected, they're going to change it.
It's really remarkable, though, as this law continues to be unpopular in the country, the court keeps upholding it, and it becomes a live political issue cycle after cycle. There is something about the way that it was originally passed, kind of an original sin, if you will, that does not gain an acceptance like Social Security and Medicare and other major legislation.
It probably depends on how many people, though, end up accessing those health marketplaces, health insurance marketplaces over their lifetime. I mean, much like Social Security and Medicare, you don't really appreciate it until you need to use it, until you start taking advantage of the benefit that is there.